Teflon John.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Teflon John coming to you courtesy of I Am Teflon John for the I Am Teflon John podcast show. And today's episode is called Let Your Frustrations Motivate You. That's right. We're going to talk about the frustrations of your life and we're going to let it motivate you. But right now, I want to take a brief second to thank everyone who's listened to the I Am Teflon John podcast show. I would like for you to take this episode and go ahead and share it with at least 5 of your friends. My goal is to inspire you where you are inspired, and my goal is to provoke thought. I just want to plant a seed of thought, right? So in our day-to-day lives, right, we're always going to go through and have frustrations, right? That's just part of living. And through these frustrations become, challenges. Challenges arrive, right? And through these challenges, we have choices. Sometimes we have choices where we quit, where we tap out, or we go through it and realizing that frustration causes stress. And now you have to, deal with it, and you have to go to work. You have to go to school. You have to come home because life doesn't stop, whether you have a death in the family, whether you have bills due. Whenever you're dealing with frustrations, it can really demoralize you. You may have goals, dealing with real estate, dealing with business, dealing with finances. But whenever you're frustrated, and whenever something's not working out, that has the potential to overtake your motivation and overtake your goals, right? But I want you to think about it this way, right? Statistics show, I remember being in school and having friends that were privileged that grew up rich. You know what I'm saying? I think it was a friend, I don't want to call his name or whatever, but I remember his dad buying him a brand new Honda Accord. I believe it was like 2001, brand new. He wrecked it that night. 2 days later, he had another brand new car, right? So what happens is these people grow up, right, feeling privileged. They feel like the world owes them something because you never had to struggle. You never had to work for anything, right? And with that being said, I remember driving my mom's car, like, it would break down or she would have to get another one. And it wasn't like the latest, greatest vehicle out, but it was a vehicle. But going through these struggles, right, what it does, it teaches you how to capitalize on the hunger, right? So if you never struggled, right, struggle is going to help fuel that hunger inside you, and it's going to help fuel that desire to want more, right? Because sometimes you'll see where kids are raised and they're given everything, and they're raised under rich parents and in a great financial situation, and they're strung out on drugs. You know what I'm saying? They can't cope with life because they've never had to deal with anything. Money has always been the bailout. And what I want to stress to you guys that are under my voice, right? A lot of times we have to let our frustrations motivate us. And I know it's hard. Because you can be frustrated, but there's 2 ways to look at it. Like if you go to a job every day that you're unhappy with, right? There's 2 ways to look at it. You can let those frustrations stress you out to the point where you go off and lose your job, or you can let those frustrations empower you and motivate you to be your own boss. Think about it, right? If you were at a job and you were happy, you were content, and everything was perfect, there would be no need to want more. There would be no need to want different because you would find yourself in this great comfort zone to where everything's going good. So why change? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you like if you're sitting in a chair and it's uncomfortable, first thing you want to do is move to another seat. So if that job that you're at, right? If that job that you're at is stressful, if it's, you don't like dealing with the people, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's your motivation to find another job. Maybe that's your motivation to start your own business. If you're frustrated and your personality type does not allow you to work for other people, maybe your boss was put there, right? Listen to what I'm saying. Maybe your boss was put in your life to help push you and propel you to entrepreneurship. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? You encounter people on your jobs. You encounter people in everyday life for a reason. Sometimes you report to people that you don't like or that you don't like dealing with, or that may give you a hard time because God has allowed that to push you to your destiny of entrepreneurship, right? And a lot of times we look at this thing the wrong way because if it weren't for certain things in my life happening, when I'm talking about frustrations, not just work, but because I had frustrations over a year ago when I was diagnosed with spinal stenosis. It was the most frustrating period of my life because I'm a personal trainer that can't train people. I'm a personal trainer that can't work out. I'm a personal trainer that can't walk, right? But those frustrations pushed me into doing podcasts, blogs, motivational videos, because when I was down, I needed someone to motivate me. And I found a community on Facebook of people who needed motivation, right? So if it weren't for those down times and everything was good, I'd probably still be doing my thing, training, but I would not be at the level I'm at trying to help people get out. Because when you're frustrated and when you're at your low point, you can make bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? Bad decisions. But going back to letting those frustrations motivate you, you got to look at it two ways. So it's all on how you perceive this thing. Is this situation made to crush me? Was this situation made to take me over? Or was this situation made to push me, right? Because I'm telling you, sometimes the reason why we're where we're at and the reason why we're thinking so negatively is because we must change our perception, how we perceive the situation that we're in. A lot of times, when I was younger, I was telling my friend at work, like I used to be the most negative person that you can talk to because I was so used to things not working out. You know what I'm saying? I was used to, getting the short end of the stick. I was used to not having money, or me and my mom's always running into a run or having a bad time. And she used to tell me, "You're so negative." And now looking back at it, I don't think I would want to be around myself, just to hear all the negativity. It won't work. I don't have, and not realizing that when I began to go to church and learning that there's life and death, like the power of life and death relies on your tongue. And by me speaking this negativity in the atmosphere, I was manifesting these thoughts. You know what I'm saying? They all started all these thoughts and they began to manifest as my actions, because a lot of times, whatever you think, your body follows. It starts with the mind, then it starts physically. So if you don't think you're nothing, if you think you're nothing, if you think you're low, if you think you're less than, your body language shows. Sometimes you can see people's motivation or what they think about themselves by the way they walk, by the way they approach you. They have the head down. So what I'm saying is when you think about your frustrations in life, right? Also, you got to speak to it. Speak to those situations, that you're going to come out. Speak to those situations that this is only temporary, but you have to ask yourself the golden question. What is God trying to show me here? A lot of times we go through dark, frustrating situations, right? Not only to motivate us, it's your job to let that motivate you, but it's to actually teach or get something out of us, right? If you go back and look at the Karate Kid, and it's kind of funny because I always use this analogy. And he wanted to learn how to fight, but Mr. Miyagi had him, waxing the floor. Mr. Miyagi had him, painting the fence. And he was frustrated. And, I think it was a day where he was like, man, I thought I was going to learn how to fight. He kept giving him more chores. But what he didn't realize, the motions of the chore were actually teaching them how to block. The motions of the chore were actually teaching them how to fight and throw punches. So you got to look at the very thing that you're struggling with and going through will be your testimony later, and it's going to help you build strength. A lot of people in life want to be the champ. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in life want to be on top. But if you look at Floyd Mayweather and you look at him training 3 days a week, not everybody's going to do that to get to the top. You know what I'm saying? Like being a personal trainer, you can prescribe a workout, right? Because okay, we've sat down and we've discussed your end result. I want to drop 50 to 100 pounds, all right? So what I do is come up with a regimen that's designed not to kill you, you know what I'm saying, but to push you to the limits to help you reach that end goal. Sometimes in life, God has prescribed a dark season, right? That's going to push you and test your limits, but it's going to get something out of you. You know what I'm saying? Muscles grow during resistance, right? And muscles grow bigger during heavier resistance. And a lot of times that resistance is hard, but that's where growth is. You grow in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? When you're lifting weights, the harder the rep, the harder it is to get, the more your central nervous system is intact and you're really contracting those muscles. That's when you're going to grow. So a lot of times God allows hard situations to come and you have to say, look, what am I learning from this? You think about Job. Job went through some crazy stuff, but he never doubted God. You know what I'm saying? Job was a man of faith. Job was a man that believed in God. So when it comes to these frustrations in your life, you have to think, why am I going through this, right? And I had to learn this because I used to get frustrated, and I was the first to say I was ready to give up and throw in the towel. But now I realize that doing everything that I've been through in life, being mistreated or, being overlooked or being slept on or not making the team or, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff has made me who I am. You know what I'm saying? My father not being there has made me who I am. My stepdad rejected me and mistreat me has made me who I am. Now, who knows if my dad was in my life and if my stepdad treated me good, I could turn out to be a jerk. You know what I'm saying? But throughout that process, God allowed me to go through that, the rejection of my stepfather and my father, because I was going to marry a woman that already had 2 kids. God knew that before he birthed me out of my mother. You see what I'm saying? So all that was preparation for my assignment. And part of your frustrations is connected to your assignment in life. I don't know what your assignment is, but if you look back at your childhood, right? First, people say when they look back at their childhood and they have kids, I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. And sometimes it becomes a statement, but we go through this cycle of, what do we call it? A cycle of, not misconduct. I'm kind of stuck. I really can't think of the word, but it's cycle of dysfunction, family dysfunction and family curses, because no one learns from the past, right? You go through that so you can bless the next generation or bless other people, right? So also take your frustrations in life and go in the world and tell people how you came out. You know what I'm saying? If you went through a tragedy in life, tragedy in your family, and it was hard for you, but now you're on top, it's your goal and your duty to go out there and bring other people out. It's like if you and 10 other people fell in a ditch, fell in a hole, right? And let's say this ditch and this hole it represents you going through, and it also represents your situation. So if you're in that hole and you're in that situation, right? And you're able to get out. And so now you're out of you're out of the bad situation, you're out of the dark state. It's still 9 other people down there in that hole. You would feel bad if you went home and went to sleep. Now you got to go back. Now you're out and you're in a better position to get those 9 people out. So what I'm telling you is anything that you've been through in life, trust me, since I've been doing this motivational stuff, most of this content originates from stuff that I went through. And a lot of things I went through in life, I still felt like, man, God, why did I have to go through that? But you feel better about it when you can use your testimony and someone says, man, it brings me out, or man, I'm not going to commit suicide, because you never know what people are going through and you never know how they look at you. And that very thing that didn't overtake you, somebody's about to commit suicide. Like if we can count to 5 real quick, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know how many people, I don't know what the statistics are, but I guarantee you that suicides are happening every so many seconds in the United States of America. That's not counting the world, but the United States of America, because people are allowing frustrating situations and circumstances that they have no control over take them over. And like I said, it's all about our perception and how we perceive what we're going through, because all right, like going back to the personal training again, right? If you're training a fighter, if you ever seen Rocky or Creed, and, they had him chasing the chicken and they had him punching frozen meat, it wasn't to break him. It was to prepare him for the fight that's down the road. So a lot of times in life, God is taking you through these frustrating situations because there's a bigger enemy coming, right? These are just mini tests. They're actually quizzes, right? Your small adversities that you're going through in life are nothing but mere quizzes, right? For the big test. God is preparing you for the big test. And a lot of times in school as those tests are broken down, like I said, into small quizzes, and they kind of prep you for the test. And the better you do for the quizzes, or if you fail the quiz, you know what to study for the test now. Right. And that's the same thing I'm saying, like in life, when you go through this stuff, you're like, man, why'd I got to deal with this? Man, why I got to deal with so and so? I'm telling you, it's a foe down there that God is getting you ready for. You know what I'm saying? David went through a lot in the Bible to get prepared for Goliath. So by the time he met Goliath, fear was gone. You see what I'm saying? So you got to look at anything that you're doing, right? Never sleep on it. You know what I'm saying? And my mom, like I said, she pulls scriptures in me like all the time. Like, and it's time. I remember I started my boot camp. You talking about frustration, and I was embarrassed. I had did like, a big flyer, and it was gonna be X amount of dollars a month, and I'm at the Jubilee Center, and one person showed up. And I told the person to come in, and they stood by the music. I said, and I'm going and looking out the door like I'm waiting on my parents to pick me up from school, because I'm like, I know people are going to come. Like 10 minutes later, I had to start the class, right? And this girl's name is Carolyn Alcock. Shout out to Carolyn Alcock. That was like one of my first group clients, and the most faithful client I ever had. And I was just so embarrassed because it was just her. So I'm training one person for boot camp. I didn't take any pictures on purpose because I didn't want people to see one person at boot camp. You know what I'm saying? I was embarrassed. But let me tell you what happened. My mom called me and said, do not despise the day of small beginnings, right? And I was mad because at this point, I wanted to be mad. But if someone gives you that scripture, there's no need to get upset. So that frustrated me more. But what I didn't realize was God was preparing me, right? He sent me the one client that was going to go out there on Facebook and share, go out there and talk. The one client that was going to work hard and get results, that was going to catapult and bring me more clients. But what I didn't realize is by not taking the pictures of Carolyn, what I didn't realize by not taking pictures of that class, a year later, I would get a class at the Jesus Center down here in Appomattox where I grew to 30 people. You see what I'm saying? So had I got frustrated and told Carolyn, look, man, we can't do it. We don't have enough people. You know what I'm saying? I believe God is speaking to me now. Had I got frustrated and told Carolyn, hey, look, I don't have enough people because I'm embarrassed or I'm prideful, I would have never reached that point. And then it's probably a trainer that I'm going to hire later on in life, or a trainer or somebody in business that's going to struggle. And by me telling this story now, how I went from one client to you seeing me in a picture with 30 people, you know what I'm saying? Just by being persistent, consistent, and putting in the hard work. You know what I'm saying? I didn't allow my frustrations to get to me. I allowed the frustration of one client to push me and motivate me to now I'm going to be the best trainer to that one client that I can be. Because how can I be a trainer to 30 people if I can't train one? You see what I'm saying? So being faithful of few, man, I'm telling you, he'll make you rule over many. I'm telling you, being faithful of few, he'll make you rule over many. And I'm just telling you this because I believe that, God speaks through different people. We all are like instruments in an orchestra, right? You may be a string. I may be a timpani, somebody may be a bongo, somebody may be a drum or piano. So when we all play, we all make different sounds. And sometimes God uses our voice. Sometimes God uses our talent. And then what it does is it plays the sound for him and it gets to whoever he wants it to get to, right? So like I said, I don't know why I chose this topic, but I'm telling you, allow your frustrations to motivate you. You know what I'm saying? Like some people allow frustrations to put them in a halt where now they don't want to do anything. You went through one bad relationship, one bad marriage, and now you've taken yourself off the market. And the person that God has for you or the person that's meant for you is just waiting there, but you've taken yourself off the market. Or on the flip side, you go through one bad relationship. Now you sleep around with everybody and you deface your name. You know what I mean? So you can't let a bad situation change your outlook. If you're a lady and you had a bad relationship with Steven, right, back in 96, right? But here it is, 2017. You haven't seen Steven since 96, but yet every man that you've been with since then, you treat like Steven. And you notice why, and you wonder why you can't keep anybody, because you're still connected to Steven and haven't forgiven Steven. And the frustrations of Steven, you're treating everybody like that Steven and not giving them a chance. You see what I'm saying? Frustrations can also close your heart to opportunities, So the thing that I want you guys to actually take away from this is, when I know everybody's going through something. Me and my family, we just went through something tragic, and it's frustrating. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about life, it doesn't stop. There is no pause button. Xfinity, they got universal remotes. You know what I'm saying? They have remote apps on your phone, but I haven't seen any device that you can pause life because you feel like feeling sorry for yourself. Yeah, you have to grieve. You have to deal with situations. You have to express yourself. But one thing I noticed, life don't stop. Bills still come in. Kids still grow. People still get hungry. And what I'm saying is that frustration has got to catapult you in a positive direction. So again, it's your perception. And if you're around people that's speaking into and feeding that frustration that you have, get away from them. You know what I'm saying? In this season of your life, in this season of my life, going through what I've been through, in the last month, I don't have time for people that's going to feed my weakness. I need people that's going to feed my strength. And that's just being real. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if they're your best friend for years. If they're feeding your weakness, like if you know you have goals and they're just speaking to your weakness and trying to get you to do stuff that's contrary to your goals, question their motives. Not everybody's motives towards you is pure. And that could be one of the reasons why you're overly frustrated, because you're allowing this person to drag you down. You see what I'm saying? So you don't owe it to anybody to let them drain you of your energy, man. You don't owe it to anybody to let them drain you of your personality. You don't owe it to anybody to let them drain you of the motivation that you need to go after your goals or take care of your family or feed anybody. I'm telling you, because a lot of times when all this stuff happens, right, and these people sit back and they're talking, as long as you're doing what they're doing, as long as their mess can become your mess, they're cool. And sometimes you're frustrating yourself because you can't have a moment going through anything real in life because your friend or your boo or your homeboy over here is weighing you down with their problems, and their problems don't amount to a hill of beans. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what shoes I'm going to wear. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, you keep pouring out to people like this bottle of water. If I keep pouring it out for everyone, pretty soon when I get thirsty, it's nothing to drink. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn how to preserve the energy you have for yourself and learn when to pour it out. Don't pour it out to somebody that doesn't deserve to be poured out to, because you have some people that has fallen in love with sympathy. Right? You've been mentoring and coaching this person through this relationship issue or through this loneliness spell or through this problem for months, right? And they've fallen in love with the fact that their issue gets sympathy from you. And they just love, you know what I'm saying, you being their crutch. They just love you being there. You know what I'm saying? Watch out from people like that. You know, I remember when my grandpa was teaching me how to ride a bike, and that joint, it had training wheels on it. I remember riding. I'm like, this is easy. He said, well, sooner or later, we got to take these training wheels off. You've been on this thing too long. A lot of times in life, we're still on our training wheels when dealing with situations. We should have our cap and gown by now and be graduated. So I'm just keeping it real. Like, you have to look at people and be like, look, man, I have so much energy, right? I have so much spiritual energy to give. I can't keep giving it to you if you don't. Some people don't want to be fixed. You know what I'm saying? You remember being kids, and some people love being sick because they get that attention from mama. They get the chicken noodle soup. But we 20, 25 plus years, 30, 40, 50 years old, and we don't have time to be acting like that. You know what I'm saying? Either get it right or move on. Because I'm telling you, if you're a ship, right? You, me, we're all ships in the ocean. We can't sail with the anchor down. And sometimes we're not throwing the anchor down, but we're allowing the anchor to stay attached to us. And we're trying to pull somebody and move forward at the same time. It doesn't work like that. Like I said, you got to get out the hole first before you can help somebody. And you don't want to fall back into the hole, you know what I'm saying, from trying to help somebody that doesn't want to come out. Statistics show that most people that drown can swim, but they're drowning trying to help somebody that's panicking in the water. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Why? Choose your battles wisely, but don't let frustrations get to you. And I know I said, I'm going Facebook Live at the same time, and I was going to cut the broadcast, but I'm going to just let the whole thing rock. I'm pretty sure y'all are tuning in to the episode, but, I do these, podcasts, and I do these videos because I believe it's someone under my voice that God wants to hear this, and the way technology is, Wi-Fi and the internet, I'm pretty sure there's somebody else is going to hear this and be like, man, this is for me. But please share this broadcast with 5 of your friends. You know, I want you to share this broadcast with 5 of your friends and put the hashtag I am Teflon John, IAMTEFLONJOHN. And I'm coming down to the end of the broadcast. And like I said, my goal is to inspire you or you are inspired. And I want you to visit my website, www.iamteflonjohn.com. I want you to visit my website and go to my podcast. Like I said, I have 2 ebooks. I have a healthy ebook, How to Live a Healthier Lifestyle, and I have a motivational ebook, How to Achieve Goals in Life. And you can get those for free by signing up for my email newsletter list. And again, I thank you guys. I thank God for all my followers, for people under my voice. Share this page, share this message, and hey, you know what I'm gonna say? One love, be blessed.